Alright guys, Criminal here, back to another MK1 video. In this one I'm gonna be covering Raiden, who is in my opinion the single best character in Mortal Kombat 1 as of now. I did change my mind, I used to think Baraka, but after diving into Raiden's kit a bit more, I do think Raiden is better. And I will say I actually think he's better by a significant amount, to be honest. Like, he has multiple advantages over Baraka. Let's first of all, one of the biggest strengths these characters both have. First of all, similar HP levels, of course. They have the same amount of HP, both of them. Both of them get a lot of value from Cyrax, of course, but let's just talk about strengths. I mean, very obvious strength both have is just ridiculous damage, like Raiden from any hit, pretty much. Like, you get the hit, let's say this one, very common. Oh, excuse me, I dropped it. So pretty much 46 mid-screen, and you can actually probably get a bit more. I'm pretty sure the optimal is 48 for one bar, and in the corner it gets even better. Like, in the corner, how much do you get? Let's say optimal starter in the corner, just to check. Like, optimal starter. Pretty much 50, 51. Let me just try and get it again. Yeah, 51% basically. Now let's see Baraka. I'm pretty sure the damage numbers are pretty similar. Like, I don't think there's a big difference in the damage. Both do ridiculous damage, of course, but Baraka, optimal starter in the corner for one bar. We can see pretty much 50. I mean, there's probably a way to do more damage. I'd say around 50%, so similar damage, honestly. Now let's check mid-screen. Raiden does around 48 again, for one bar. Let's check Baraka. Again, this one is actually optimal starter. Yeah, I had to change it up a bit to just... Let me just change sides. Around 48 again. Baraka's damage is actually pretty similar for one bar. It doesn't really change because the combo hold is pretty much the exact same. So, as you can see, damage output, pretty much the exact same. Honestly, there's not much of a difference. Only difference I can think of is just Baraka can get more damage when he chooses to spend more bar. Like, Baraka has more ways to spend more bar in combos. Like, spend 2 bars, Baraka can't do it. So Baraka can get actually more damage when he wants to spend everything he got. And again, I don't play these characters, like I just don't find them really fun. We're talking 55, if you do it optimized, it's 57. So Baraka can get more damage if you choose to spend more bar, but it's not a substantial difference really. It's for the same amount of bar, they pretty much do the exact same damage numbers. There is not much difference whatsoever. Now, another thing I just want to mention right off the bat, just get it out, like fatal blows. I'd say Baraka's is better just because Raiden's fatal blow is really tough to combo into. Like, you need after this. You need to do it after this move. Granted, it is pretty good because you can just do it anytime in a combo. Like, regardless of how much hits you have, it will still work. Like, I do this nonsense, like, if I wanna go now into fatal, I'm gonna struggle. Like, after this drops, it doesn't work. It will whiff, it can catch them off guard, but it will whiff normally. But if I just do that EX move, it will work. So while Raiden's is pretty difficult to combo into meterlessly, you pretty much can combo into it in every single combo thanks to this move, like the EX version. So there's not really much of an issue to combo into this. Baraka, kind of a similar thing, really. Baraka can just combo it anytime he likes, like just something like this, let's say. But you need to be like, you can't just go to the sky with Cyrax, you must end it before it. So you need to end the combo before you actually go into the sky with Cyrax, so you need to end it here. Does that work? I'm pretty sure it works, yeah. So as you can see, pretty consistent way of getting it. not really troublesome. Like, you can get both of their fatals pretty easily. So yeah, there's not much of a difference. If we're talking which one's better, I'd say Baraka's easily. Just, it's easier to combo into it meterlessly. It has more range. So yeah, it's actually, I do give the fatal blow to Baraka, but just the difference between these characters, the main difference is just the chip damage setups. The power of both of these characters, I'm sure you already understand it by now, but it's just the chip damage setups, basically. Like, just how much chip they are doing and how much free damage they're doing. These characters already have pretty good mix-ups. Like Baraka has a low starter, an armor breaking low starter, and an overhead starter. Granted, the overhead is really reactable. Like, you can up-block it on reaction because it's 29 frames of startup. But it's safe, the low is also safe, and this one is also safe. But you can duck under it. So this is actually not a safe string, because if they stop it here, it's punishable. If they do this, it's punishable. And if they do this, you can duck under the launcher. So, just to show you frame data, I mean, I need to show it if I'm gonna talk about safety. So this is minus 14, unsafe. This is minus 13, unsafe. This is safe, but you can duck under it. So, you can avoid it. And the overhead, safe minus 7, the low minus 3 safe, and it also has this extender, also minus 7 safe. So, but there's also another massive difference between these two. So basically, Baraka with any hit you do, most likely pokes. Like, pokes are just the most powerful thing with this character. You do a poke into their special move into Cyrax. So, with Baraka you get a poke. I need to put Raiden on more HP. Yeah, this is just something I want to talk about first of all. Like, Raiden actually has a unique trait. He has a passive ability in his kit. He's pretty much the only character in the roster who has this, for my knowledge. Like, look at what happens if he starts blocking for a while. Like, he starts glowing with lightning, and now actually Raiden takes reduced chip damage. Now he takes 375 from this. Normally he will take 75. So he reduces his chip damage taken by 50%, which is absolutely insane. Now keep in mind, this character is pretty much the most busted character in the entire game. So this passage just gives them an automatic edge over Baraka, because the only thing you're gonna fight in high level, like in Combat League, in the top ranks, pretty much 90% of the time you're fighting Baraka or Cyrax. Cyrax is traumatizing me. Baraka or Raiden, both with Cyrax. And the main power is just the chip damage they are doing. Like, I can't show it now because I'm against Raiden, so it takes reduce, but with Raiden specifically, you have this chip damage set up. Like, you just do this. Pretty much 30% of your HP gone for blocking. And this is a character that if he lands a hit on you once, you're dead. Not to mention, this is, I'm pretty sure it's plus. It's safe, sorry. Like, I haven't found a way to punish this, even if I'm right in his face. I don't think it's actually possible to punish this thing. And unlike Baraka, it actually has a unique advantage. This is considered a projectile, which means counter moves. Let's say Reiko or Johnny's busted counter that activates frame 1 or frame 2, the EX down back 1, will not work against this because this is a projectile. So this is already one advantage. Second of all, this, in the middle of this, there is no armored move gap. Like in Baraka's move, Baraka has this move is, this one, like if you block this, you can input an armor in between the second and third hit of this. With Raiden you can't. Like if I just switch to Raiden really quickly, I'll switch to Raiden. Now Raiden is blocking me. I'll just block Raiden. Look what happens. Like he does this, I'm blocking, I can't input anything. I mean, I'm trying to input, maybe before the last hit you can. You can't. There's no way to input something here. And it actually will break armor as well because it's so many hits. So if it does it after a poke, let's say, or after a string, I still can't interrupt it with an armor move. So it does this. Oh, that's a low, right? There's no gap there actually. You just can't input your armor move. There's no gap there. And because it's multiple hits, you can't actually armor at any time in this. So pretty much, if Raiden lands a hit on you when you're blocking, you are forced to block. You don't have any options. Because counters won't work, because this is considered a projectile. It's not considered a physical attack. Counters don't work. This will jail even if you're crouch blocking, because Cyrax is stupid and is a high attack that jails on low but crouching opponents if they're in block stun. So now he's only crouch blocking. If I do an overhead, he gets it. So as you can see, Cyrax still works because Cyrax is broken. Now he doesn't though, but you know, I can just do this and then do this low and cancel into this shit, and now he's supposed to deal with me again. The power of this, just look at how much damage I did, or just free damage I didn't earn in any way, just free damage for no reason. And just the fact that you can special cancel pokes in this game makes it just extremely busted, because even after pokes, there's no chance to interrupt this thing. Like, just... He does it after a poke, I still can't interrupt him. You can see my armor breaks. There's no move in the game that's fast enough to actually interrupt this from my knowledge. Only invincible moves. And there aren't many of these. Like, I can only think of one armor move that will beat this, and it's actually Havoc's hand, because Havoc's hand has like 4 or 5 hits of armor. So that will beat it. Other than that, there's no way to beat this thing. Now, Baraka does have Baraka can do it twice in a row thanks to the fact he forces you to block it. Like, Baraka has an overhead, but because you can just... Excuse me. Because Baraka can just do this overhead right here, and then jail into this, he can just repeat the cycle with Cyrax multiple times. So he can do a lot of chip damage, but you don't see it now because Raiden just takes reduced chip damage for no reason. So if we're talking advantages over the chip damage setups on block, like, Raiden's is uninterruptible, not by armored moves, not by anything. You can't interrupt this thing in any way, not with counters, not with anything. Fatal blows won't work, nothing works. I don't think there's a move in the game that actually beats this, other than invincible moves. And in situations like this is actually so plus, like, with cancel advantage, it's plus 16 cancel advantage. It doesn't show here, let me just check if it shows how much startup this has. 2, the fuck? Never mind. I don't understand why it works like that, but regardless. Just, this, there's pretty much no way to avoid this, you must block. With Baraka you can armor move, you can do a counter with Johnny or with Reiko, you can do a counter in the gap between the second or third move, and you can also do an armor move to avoid it. But with this one you just can't, like, there is no gap in here, nothing else you can do. So this is just a much more free version of Baraka's. Not to mention, this shit actually sucks them in. So if you just throw this shit down in neutral, it will hit the airborne opponents, it hits everything, so you can just throw it in neutral, they're stuck in, and then they're forced to block it, and then Cyrax. So as you can see, nonsense, exactly. But there is another advantage for this over Baraka's, and the fact that advantage is, this is comboable, even in the normal version. If they just don't block, like after a poke, they didn't block it, for some reason, I can get 21% easy, like meterless, if they didn't block the amplified version, which actually hits low, by the way. This is a low attack, so yeah, just to keep that in mind, like if you don't block low, you're gonna get hit. And does it do more chip damage? No, it just hits low. But this one doesn't suck them in. But regardless, if you do the amplified, and they don't block it, they are even more fucked. Because why is that? Because the amplified does this when you press X again. So they didn't block the amplified. They're eating a massive combo. Granted, it is scaled, but this is a lot of damage to be hitting. You don't wanna eat this amount of damage. They didn't block it. So they're pretty much hitting 40% almost for not blocking and busted chip damage setups that leads to 40%. And there's one final advantage for this over Baraka's. Baraka's is punishable on block, this is not. So if I just control Baraka, and the Raiden opponent will just run to my face and do this, and I block it, you can see this is punish, you can actually block after this, so I'll go after this and input him, I'll hold block right after. So I'm blocking this, you can see you can block. There's no way to punish this. 7 frame move, doesn't work. Like, it also has decent amount of pushback, so standing ones will actually whiff on this. But let me just check Baraka's moves, like what is like faster? I mean, if he has anything faster. Let's check if he down one will reach. You can see there's a 7 frame gap, and most standing ones will whiff. Like, let's try a 9 frame move, it also works. So this is unsafe, but you need a fast Punisher. Like, you need a really fast Punisher, and you need to input it well. But if it's amplified, I'm pretty sure that doesn't even work. Like, it did this. Yeah, look at the pushback. Now we're just completely safe if they amplified. So with this amount of pushback, there's no punishing that. So pretty much you need a 9 frame move almost. Unless you're Johnny Cage with a 9 frame mid, you're not punishing this nonsense. And just keep in mind the pushback. Like, it gets crazy at a certain point just because of Cyrax. Cyrax is already pushing you back. Like, so as the Raiden, I can just get this after a poke. Check if they got hit by my hit. Oh no, they didn't. I just do this again. And I just do my more chip damage. Now I'm completely safe. I did 30%. I'm neutral. It's minus 12 on block. This one, how much? Does it show? No, it doesn't show. It's a bug. Never mind. As you can see, this is a much better version than of Baraka's mix-up, pretty much. It's just a much better version of it. There are no gaps here. There are no gaps. You can't armor move through anything here. There is no way to counter this with specific physical attack counters, like Johnny's down back 1, Reiko's down back 1. It doesn't work, because this is a projectile technically. It has a much larger hitbox. It sucks them in, and if they are jumping, it will still get them. Like, something like this. And on top of everything, it gives the full combo. So, you can see it's just a much better version of Baraka's chip damage setups. And I'm pretty sure it actually does more chip damage as well. I think the numbers are quite similar, like 30%, pretty much. But Raiden's is easier to do actually, because Baraka's mashing circle string is actually pretty tricky to do. So yeah, pretty much has a superior version of the chip damage setups. Its damage output and Baraka's damage output is pretty much the exact same. Its mixed up game, I would argue, is actually much stronger, because he has this low, 15 frames on startup, pretty much unreactable, and he has this overhead, 19 on startup. Reactable, but still very fast. Now, this overhead doesn't lead to combos, but still, dealing with this nonsense is actually pretty annoying. Like, I'm pretty sure it's safe. Of course, it's Raiden, everything is safe. On hit, it doesn't lead to combos, unfortunately. Fortunately, what do I mean unfortunately? It doesn't lead to combos, but just dealing with the shit in the middle of chip damage setups is really annoying. Like, just dealing with this nonsense. Like, I'm blocking him low. I, as the Baraka player, am blocking low. Just let me put it on stance. I block him low. Oh no, chip damage, I have to block. I get hit by the overhead. Now it's going again, I have to block again. I go for another overhead. Now he said, fuck it, I don't want to get hit by overheads all the time. And then, read Bozo. You're just dead from this point on. You didn't block this, you're pretty much eating 50%. I don't know the optimal way there, I'm pretty sure it's something like this. Yeah, it's something like this, it does around 48% again. From any hit, this character is getting a ton of damage, so he can chip you out with really free damage that is unearned very, very easily. This character is just getting a lot of free damage, and it's even more free than Baraka's. Not to mention, when you're talking neutral, this character is much better than Baraka too. Like, he has this projectile of his, does a shit ton of chip damage. You can charge it, like, it does a ton of chip damage, and just pretty fast in general. And it just has the classic, which is just ridiculously busted in neutral, the teleport, which is almost instant in this game. Like it's really, really fast, and you recover very quickly. So, unless the opponent reads you're gonna teleport on reaction, it's not that easy to punish this thing. And most of the time, the Raidens will actually do it in reaction to a projectile, and then they can actually even punish you, I'm pretty sure. Like, if I put Baraka on doing this, and I put myself on full screen, as you can see, in this situation I can't block. And I can't get my turn again. So, yeah, he has much better neutral than Baraka. He has much better mobility as well, thanks to having the teleport and having the electric fly that recovers pretty much instantly. Even though it goes full screen from the opponent, so you can just run away like this. Like, so as you can see, he's superior in neutral, he's superior zoning. I'd argue Baraka is maybe better because this projectile is a bit better, but this is actually still a pretty good projectile, and Just thanks to the fact that the teleport exists with this character, I would say he's a better zoner as well. Thanks to the teleport just being a deterrent from projectiles. Like if I put Baraka on summoning Cyrax and I see him doing it as Raiden. So as you can see, this character is just ridiculous, man. There's not much else to say. He has the best passive ability, and I'm pretty sure the only passive ability in the game. He just takes half the chip damage after he blocks like 3 or 4 attacks, which is ridiculously unfair. Considering this character is the god of chip damage. He does pretty much the same amount of chip as Baraka, but in a much better version. But it's less expensive as well if you actually want to capitalize off of your opponent not blocking. It's actually a safe version as well. It's really hard to punish this nonsense. And if you use the EX version, it's actually completely unpunishable. There are no gaps again, so it's just a much better chip damage version. He does more damage. Like, he does the same damage. His and Baraka's damage is pretty much the exact same. They don't really have differences for 1 bar at the very least. And this character's combos are actually easier than Baraka's. Like, his combos are extremely easy, man. I don't play Raiden at all, but I'm still managing to get these combos because this character is very easy, man. There's not much complexity involved with this character. So 47 for no effort whatsoever. And now you're forced to deal with my chip damage. Oh no, you blocked my overhead. Now I went low. You are dead. Farewell. So yeah, his damage is ridiculous. His chip damage is even better than Baraka. So overall, I do think this character is pretty much a better version of Baraka. Like, in every aspect. I mean, other than the damage situationally being better with Baraka, and Baraka having the situational more chip damage when you're bleeding, I do think this character is actually better than Baraka. Mainly because he's just immune to chip damage, and chip damage is pretty much the meta right now. Just all characters are doing a ton of chip thanks to the fact that Cyrax is the only cameo in the game. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this one up here, guys. I do think this character is number 1 in the game. He is ridiculously busted. I hope he gets nerfed, of course. Like, this move should be much more punishable. But honestly, man, all of the nerfs we needed for the top tiers pretty much come down to one major issue, and that is just Cyrax is busted. Like, the moment Cyrax gets nerfed, Baraka gets nerfed, Raiden gets nerfed, Johnny will also get nerfed, like, damage-wise. Like, his damage will just get nerfed because Cyrax's scaling will increase when he gets nerfed, hopefully. Hopefully they nerf him, these idiots. Who else will be nerfed? I mean, I don't know, pretty much the entire roster, because Cyrax is pretty much run with the entire roster, so pretty much, man, the nerfs they need, there are not many nerfs characters in this game actually need. Most of them need buffs and they need to nerf Cyrax. That's pretty much it, man. They need to nerf Cyrax and maybe Kung Lao cameo. That's pretty much it. There are no other characters in this game that needs actual substantial nerfs. Like, some nitpicks you need maybe, like frame data nonsense and shit like that, but just overall a character being by itself ridiculously busted alone without a cameo is not the case in this game. Just Cyrax makes everybody busted. Because Cyrax is just ridiculously unfair. So, yeah, for the love of God, nerf Cyrax. He ruins the game. You can't have fun with this character. Fuck this cameo. Don't use Cyrax. Don't use him. You're selling your soul. Don't use this cameo. Unless you're trying to get triple hype in real matches with Johnny. And then you do you. I don't give a shit. Like, just getting the hype shenanigans is really fun. But don't use Baraka Cyrax and Raiden Cyrax, man. This is typical trash behavior, man. This is what it is. Just trash behavior. Filthy casuals do this. It sucks, man. They're busted, ridiculous, unfair. So, yeah, guys. I'm just gonna wrap this one up here. Raiden is ridiculous. Baraka is unfair. I'll see you in the next one.